So let me tell you about a team that actually experimented with their meetings and used those experiments to help them find a better way to meet. Zapier, it rhymes with happier, is an all remote team that works on a software platform that helps integrate other kinds of software together. And like a lot of software companies, they started really small, but then they grew and they grew and they grew. The dominant sort of practice recommendation for software teams is that teams like that should get together every single morning for 10 minutes and talk about what's going on. But what Zapier found was that wasn't really working for them. They would get on these calls and not a whole lot had changed since the day before. And because they were a remote team, that call might be right in the middle of the afternoon for somebody and right first thing in the morning. So they were all at different parts of their workday and it was super disruptive. So they decided to experiment. Overall, they went through 6 different variations on that meeting. So 6 unique experiments before they found a way to meet that they really liked. First, they experimented with the timing. Instead of 10 minutes, let's make it 30 minutes and do it just every other couple of days. Then they experimented with the structure or the process. So perhaps instead of asking these questions as we go around the room to find out what's going on, we're going to ask these other questions instead. Then they experimented with how they managed the discussion. So they had read about how Amazon does written reports and everybody reads those in silence and then they have those discussions. And they tried that themselves. So at the beginning of their meeting ahead of time, everybody writes out what they've done and what they're doing and where they're stuck. And then the team reads those updates in silence. And then when they go around the room, instead of reporting, what they're doing is asking questions, right? Hey, Joe, I saw that you were working on this. How's that going? Or can you tell me more about that? Or, hey, I can help with that, right? So the whole conversation is just discussions, not information. They also experimented with which tools they were using. Are they using documents? Are they using video? And finally, they were looking at all of those experiments at what kind of value are they getting, right? So how is that meeting making that work go faster and helping that team feel better together? In the end, what they ended up with was a pattern of meeting where they meet once per week. They send updates in advance. They all read them, then ask questions, and they take turns deciding who's going to lead that meeting each time. So there's another factor they're playing with, which is who's in charge at every given meeting to make sure that process runs smoothly. And they found something that works really well for them. Now, it's not the same thing that works for a lot of co-located teams. What didn't change for that group was why they were meeting. So the purpose, which is, we're here to make sure that we're on track and we're keeping our work going forward, and the kind of outcomes they were going for. So help for each other, new information, solutions to problems. They didn't change the team that was playing, and they didn't change the nature of their work or their location, all of which are other variables you could play with, right? They're all remote, so they didn't move from, the inside meeting to the outside meeting. So using the science and the story of Zapier, let's talk about some of the ways that you might experiment with your own teams.